I'm Kara, and welcome to Soul Inspiring Business. I believe that all of us possess unique gifts and talents that allow us to serve the world and our own growth in the highest possible way. Our lives are an expression of our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And here, we will explore businesses, thought leaders, and topics designed to inspire, helping propel your own growth so you can live your best and most purposeful life. Welcome to Soul Inspiring Business. Welcome back to the Soul Inspiring Business podcast. I'm your host, Kara, and I'm glad you're here. And I wanted to mention that if you've been listening to us for a little bit, you've been probably noticing the cadence of that we're doing of one solo show. So we're doing a solo show today, and then we'll have an amazing guest on, and then solo show, and kind of that cadence. I would want to just quickly mention that if there is any particular topic that you'd love me to talk about or want to go deeper into, please let me know. I'd love your feedback. And if there is a particular guest that you really want to hear from, or you think that I should really know, I'd love to hear that too. So today we are, the past few episodes, I had done a little short story and dissected it and given a little bit of meaning to what I thought it meant. And of course, would love to hear your own interpretations. So we're going to do the same today. And this little book called Anthony de Mello's The Song of the Bird. It's one of my favorite little short stories, and they are faith-filled. I actually think that Anthony maybe was I thought maybe he was a priest, but many of the short stories are quite, I wouldn't say religious. In fact, I think a lot of his books are about sharing these stories and parables and ancient religious traditions, but with the idea that to get you back into center, into your own understanding of God, or and really challenges you to come back to your own kind of spiritual quest, so to speak, versus to leave it in the hands of others. So anyway, a little bit of background. One of the ways that I like to read this little book is in the mornings. I will, when I'm doing my meditation, I'll sometimes take out the book and ask for what message do I need to hear today, or would be especially helpful today. And then I'll flip to a page, and inevitably that is the lesson that I was supposed to have for the day. So anyway, so that's again more about this little book. And the story I'm going to read from you is called The Guru's Cat. Now, in many ways, this really is about finding our own way and our own truth and figuring out what belief systems are meant to stay and what are meant to not, are not serving you anymore. But I will read it, and then I'll give you some of my takes. And then again, if you have a different insight or something that I should know about or hear about, would love to hear from you too. All right, so this is called The Guru's Cat. When the guru sat down to worship each evening, the ashram cat would get in the way and distract the worshippers. So he ordered that the cat be tied during evening worship. After the guru died, the cat continued to be tied during evening worship. And when the cat expired, another cat was brought to the ashram so that it could be duly tied during evening worship. And centuries later, learned treatises were written by the guru's scholarly disciples on the liturgical significance of tying up a cat while worship is performed. Now, you can see just the hysterical kind of nature of this, right? So it starts out by saying that this guru during worship, he had a cat. I mean, who knows? Maybe it was a young cat. Maybe he was just a little kitten and he was, disturbing the worshipers because he was jumping around or whatever he was doing. And so the guru decided to tie up the cat during evening worship because that particular cat was just disturbing the worshipers. After the guru died, though, his the people that took over the ashram, they decided to get another cat, and then they tied him up during evening worship. And then all of a sudden, centuries later, there's all these books being written about the significance of tying up a cat during worship. I mean, how funny is that? Right? And yet that often is is what we do in life, is we give certain significance to these things that maybe no longer serve us anymore, or we don't even know why we're giving them the significance in the first place. And another kind of funny example is when, and you may have heard this story, it's about a daughter and she's making a roast for Thanksgiving dinner, and she calls her mom and she says, "What do I do?" And the mom says, "Well, you cut off the ends of both the roast." Um, and she says, "Well, why do you do that?" And she goes, "I don't know. Well, my mother did that." So the girl goes to her grandmother and she's goes, "Grandma, why are you cutting off the ends of both of the roast? Does it help with the flavor? Like, what does it do?" And she goes, "Oh no, I just did that because my oven was smaller than the roast, so I had to cut off the sides." Right? So it's this, again, same concept, is that there was a practical reason for doing something at the time. And then somehow it becomes ingrained in tradition. And then we blindly follow and do it because we think that's the way it needs to be done. And we make this whole dogma and we create this whole story about why it's so, but does it need to be so anymore? Right? So when I think about that, I think about a few things. Number one, really about finding your own way, right? Finding your own way, separate from gurus, separate from the way it's supposed to be done, separate from the experts and how they say to do it. Because often, as the story goes, right, the lessons get passed down and down and down, and you don't even know why you're doing it in the first place. You're just doing it. So the first is really, I think, and one of the things that we've talked about a little bit on the show is, um, or a lot about on the show, I should say, is learning how to listen to your own intuition and knowing what things are true for you and what things aren't. And using that intuition, not to say that we can't learn from, I mean, I'm a constant learner. So I'm always looking at what other people are doing and looking at what can I learn and what can I take away from that. But also not blindly following for the sake of following, right? Um, so it's not to say that you're not going to, carry on certain traditions, but to do it in a way where well, what things of these are mine and meant to stay with me? What things are the beliefs of my parents that maybe I don't need to carry with me anymore? What are the generational patterns that I've been holding on to that maybe it's time to let go? Maybe, right? So it really is learning how to find your own intuition. And um, another thing that I have talked on the show about before is the highest frequency really is not love, but authenticity. And I think that more and more when we look at people in business, people that were aspiring to influencers, now there are a lot that are using, different mind games and all of that. So I'm not advocating that, but the people like Gary Vee, I mean, he talks about authenticity all the time, and how when you're in your soul gifts, when you're showing up authentically, that's what people want to see. And in a world with more and more AI, and I'm not bashing I think that there are definitely some places that I've been able to use it in my business that have been pretty amazing. But it can't really think creatively. And so I think what that has done is it's made task management more efficient, but it's also placed a higher importance upon showing up in the world as our authentic selves, about sharing our soul gifts, sharing who we are meant to be. And I think that because sometimes so many of us have gone down a rabbit hole of thinking, oh, I have to be just like that person, or I have to do it just this way because that's what I've been taught. And that's, then it almost is like you're not stepping into your own truth, and your ability to impact is reduced, whether you see it or not. I think when we can show up in an authentic way where people feel who you are because it's just you're living a natural expression of who you're meant to be in the world, you end up attracting more people to you in business, in life. You'll find more synchronicities happening and unfolding for you because there's less drama. There's less of these beliefs that aren't meant to serve you because you're shedding them, and you're becoming more and more of your truer soul essence. And people see that and appreciate the beauty of that. And I should say that there may be some people that don't, and they're probably not your people then, right? They'll pass away and you'll end up attracting in the people that are meant to be in your world. And so I think that that's one of the really takeaways that I got from that little story, was figuring out what are the beliefs that we've carried that maybe don't need to be carried forward anymore. And also this idea of, and I think when we have mentors or coaches or people that we really are inspired by and look up to, and then we place them on this, pedestal far above us, like they know much more than we could ever know for ourselves. And I think there's a lot of coaches, unfortunately, that have made a lot of money and continue to make a lot of money on manipulation, where they actually kind of feed that cycle. But I think that as a coach, you're really meant to help that person find the answers within themselves, so that there doesn't become this need energy, right? I don't know. Maybe there is a certain amount, like I said, there's a lot of coaches that have built big businesses on manipulation and making people feel like they need them in order to get this success. But I think that the true job of a coach or a leader is to really help somebody find those answers within, guide them to their own process of self-discovery. And so the question becomes then, is there a place in your life where you've made somebody that, larger than life person that and made and then thought that you needed that person for guidance, or that they were the one that was going to tell you how to do things, and in doing so have abandoned your own self and what you know to be true for you. And so it's a lesson in stop giving your power away to other people, and to really come home to what, again, what is true for you. What do you need to do in this moment today to move forward with intention in creating what you want to create? What may you need to let go of? What beliefs may you need to say goodbye to in order to step into the next? And so that's what I wanted to share with you today. It's a shorter show, but I really I love these little short stories, and you'll have to go check out the book on Amazon. I don't know how much it is, but I think it's like $15 or less probably. Um, and I hope that was inspiring. I hope that that helped you in some way. And um, I look forward to connecting again in the next 2 weeks. So, with that, have a beautiful day. Again, if you've got anything to share with me, you've got any additional insights that, please email me, reach out on social. I'd love to hear from you. If you've had a chance to, or you haven't had a chance to review and rate the podcast, I'd certainly appreciate that as well. And again, make it a beautiful day. And, let's all make a commitment to each other to stay in our truths, to stay authentic to who we are meant to be in the world and who we're becoming in the world. Sending you lots of love. Bye. Loved being here with you today and would love to connect with you more over on Instagram. My handle is linked to the show notes, or you can just type in @Chaffin Donofrio. And I have something special for you as a free gift, my Dynamic Life Journal. This special book has the power to really help you live a soul-inspired life. Go to freegiftfromkara.com. Easy to remember, freegiftfromkara.com. Until next time, beautiful people, sending all my love.